Well, men, I've called you all here today because we need volunteers for a very dangerous mission. This mission is called Operation Chariot. With a flotilla filled with commandos, we shall do a very dangerous and death-defying raid upon the San Nazair port, occupied by the Germans. Any volunteers? You, man.
What?
You shall be the first volunteer, and you are going to go to war. Fire!
Excuse me, sir. What exactly is a commando?
What's a commando? General Plastic, would you be kind enough to address the group? Thank you, General. I would love to brief the men on what a British commando is. The British commando unit was formed to do like special secret operation. It was volunteer only because it was very dangerous and it was very unorthodox. Even their training, like they would do things like obstacle courses and explosives, and they would do all of these really extreme sort of ways of training that were very, very different than what the regular British Army or any other army would do. And even the regular British military sort of resented the special treatment that British commandos got. Now, this first set is a classic 132 toy soldier set by AIRFIX that came out in 1971. Here we are with 7 poses, and the first is a British commando commander or officer. And there he is wearing his classic toque. And the reason why they wear a toque is so that the helmets wouldn't clunk around or make noise. And he's holding his pistol. And he's... Everything else, the uniform is pretty much just like a regular British infantryman. And he has his binoculars, signifying that he is a commander. Standing sharpshooting Lee Enfield rifle. And this figure has a Thompson machine gun while throwing a grenade. The sculpting on this classic set is impeccable. And it's very, very clean sculpting. Poses 4 and 5. Firing a Thompson machine gun from waist and advancing with rifle and bayonet. Now, one thing that AIRFIX was they were a little bit light on gear. I imagine these figures would have a little bit more gear than just a water canteen. Or who knows, maybe because it was a fast in and out mission, they would just only have water with them and very ammunition and just a tiny bit of food. And finally, poses 6 and 7. This was the 70s, boys. All you got were 6, 7, or 8 poses at the most. Sometimes 10, but it was very rare. You have a figure kneeling, firing a heavy Bren gun off of knee. And this figure is crawling with a Sten gun and a combat knife, probably sneaking up on a German sentry to stab him in the calf muscle. Later on in this episode, you will see a real, authentic, and armed Sten gun, and I will fire it for you guys here in my apartment. So here you are, the classic 132 scale British Commandos by AIRFIX. Classic set. If you need to do a sneak attack on some German figures, you're going to need these guys. Still reissued to this very day. I love them. Now, for this next set of commandos, normally you'd think I was going to be showing off the Matchbox British Commandos, but I'm going to save those for another episode because there's at least 2 famous commando raids that we're going to need to cover on this show. But what I did instead was I bought a set of the British Commandos that I just reviewed, and the really fun thing about Commandos is you can cut their heads off
and stick them on the bodies of regular British infantry. And look, they're wearing the toques. So I made 10 conversions using classic British infantry and swapping the heads of commando heads. And this is what I made. Poses 1 and 2. Figure kneeling with radio, and I put a Sten gun on his knee. And here we have a commander with binoculars. So he's probably radioing in some positions with the help of the commander. This can be done by you kiddies at home. You can cut and glue with super glue and make it all happen. Poses 3 and 4. Crawling with Sten gun, throwing a grenade, and kneeling, firing a mortar, like a knee mortar. A very light, small mortar. Poses 5 and 6. Holding rifle, throwing grenade, and slowly advancing forward, firing Thompson machine gun. You need to get a good variety of commandos so they can do all kinds of sneaky operations. Poses 7 and 8. Firing heavy Bren gun from waist and standing sharpshooting Lee Enfield rifle. And poses 9 and 10. Running with rifle, firing, and holding Sten gun, but sneaking up on another German sentry with his bayonet knife. Gonna knife him in the back. Yeah! So there you have it, guys. These are the easiest conversions of all. I mean, I did do some cut and paste for some arms and stuff. I got a little bit creative. But for some of you that aren't that technical out there, just cut their heads off, swap heads. Just take British soldiers and put commando heads on them, and you got yourself more British commandos. Yes, Commander, I'd be happy to brief you on the Kriegsmarine German naval troops. Basically, they're just naval troops that are fighting on land. They very likely will be the soldiers guarding the dry docks. So it just so happens that we have little figures of those very soldiers here for identification. Figures 1 and 2. Commander, Kriegsmarine commander, firing an MP-18 submachine gun. It's like an earlier version of an MP-40, probably the earliest version. And this figure is advancing, firing an MP-40 from waist. And the figures bounce around. Sometimes they're wearing side caps. Sometimes they're wearing a bluish gray sort of naval sort of colored helmets. The outfits are so dark blue that they're practically black. Poses 3 and 4. Kneeling, firing MP-40 submachine gun, and firing Guer rifle from waist. This figure's wearing cool sort of naval white pants. Tucked into his jackboots. Figures 5 and 6 are both advancing. These figures are wearing side caps instead of helmets. One of the figures is wearing sort of white naval pants, and the other is wearing straight leg slacks. Both have rifles. Poses 7 and 8. Figure in prone position, firing MG-34 machine gun, multi-purpose heavy machine gun. And this figure is running for him with a box of ammunition. And he's going to need it. And he's wearing ammo belt around his neck also. As always, I created some conversions. And this one was a simple one. I just swapped out the head from the commander and put a figure wearing a side cap. So that's an easy configuration. Anybody can do it. And he's quite useful and looks great. For conversions 2, 3, 4, and 5, I basically just cut away their weapons, because they would be very useful firing firing artillery pieces aboard ships or on shore, naval guns of all sorts, or anti-aircraft. Bing! For example, if we had a coastal gun, this figure here would be, come on in here, he'd be loading the artillery piece in here. It's a bit of a small artillery piece, but you understand what I'm saying. This figure would be, operating the elevation of the gun, and this figure would be running, doing something, and this guy would be operating maybe the light, the spotlight. So it'd be like an exciting sort of setup, defending the port. So there you have it, all 8 poses of Mars 132 scale Kriegsmarine German naval troops in combat. Now, to help out with the raid, the British Navy has supplied us with some 135th scale Vosper British torpedo boats made by ITALERI. And this is a fantastic boat. It's so big and wonderful, it fits in beautifully with your 132 scale figures. Even though it's 135th, there's practically no difference. And it's big and awesome. So come on in, let's take a close look at this ship. It's about, I'd say it's about 2 feet long. Here you have a really nice bridge. And of course, ITALERI came out with a 135th scale set of figures to go along with the boat. And if you can buy the boat nowadays, and it includes the figures. So, you have a really nice commander. And actually, you have a figure, and he's steering the boat. Then you have a commander just being obnoxious, commanding, yelling. And then you have a guy with a signaling with some kind of flashlight. So like he would be signaling something to other boats. And then at the back here you have a twin anti-aircraft machine gun, and you have the guy sitting down, and he fits in there. And you have a guy here with a box of extra ammunition. And you have a guy running on deck doing something, and you have a guy yelling at him doing something, nothing and something. Oh, and these are the torpedo tubes, and you can push that through, and out of it fires the torpedo. And these torpedoes are about 8 inches long. Oh, and at the back here, you have some depth chargers, and the depth chargers would fall over, and they would disrupt the happy life of the U-boat. Oh, and this bridge, if you don't glue it down, it can lift off. Yeah. Oh. Then you can fit a figure in here, and steering the boat inside if it's a stormy night on the ocean. Anyway, get out of here. Oh. So here it is, the 135th scale ITALERI British Vosper torpedo boat. It was used in the raid, and man oh man, it's a fantastic piece. So men, crowd around so I can give you all the details of Operation Chariot. Come take a close look. This here will be the Campbelltown. We will create the ship to look like a German ship. We will also fill it with British commandos, and with it will be an escort of more torpedo boats laden with more British commandos. Now, the ship will move along the coast like this, and it will signal all of the German anti-ship batteries, like, we're friends, they ignore us, we're all friends, and it will sneak past all of these batteries, and it will also sneak past this U-boat base, and it will smash its way into the St. Nazair dry dock that is usually reserved for the Nimitz, which is the Germans' strongest battleship. Then all of the commandos will all suddenly disembark, and it will blow up the pump house, destroy the pump house, and then all of the explosives will go off, and all of the Jerrys and the dirty Huns will all be destroyed. And then we'll win. We'll blow it all up. And that is how to destroy them. So, man, what do you think?
Come in, mystery ship. Identify. Please identify. We are Germans. Let us through. Yes, we are friends. We are a German ship. Yeah, we have the code. The code is 9999. 9999. 9999. Sound the alarm! Fire! Fire! That was very foolish of you, Tommy. Hands up! The war is over for you, Tommy. Okay, yes! That looks like that's all for today. If you like the Plastic General, please remember to hit the subscription button right down there, and hit the little bell so you can always be notified about future episodes. Also, if you have any comments or if you have any historical points that you want to make, but you don't need to because we're historically accurate here. Also, special shout out to Ricky Davis. He helped make this episode possible with his generous donation. You know, long live 132 World War II, and we better get as far away from Campbelltown as possible because it's going to blow any second. Yeah! The ship is going to blow! Run!